Hello, we are the students of 25 IL 181 and today we talk about the NOM-035 and psychosocial risk.
In our point of view, the importance is given attention to psychosocial risk factors. Workplace is too important to avoid violence, as well as promoting a favorable organizational climate in the workplace, in such a way that the psychosocial risks are identified in terms of the three syndromes. These include survivor syndrome, burnout syndrome, and work addiction. Within all this, we must emphasize workers who are sometimes forced to work overtime due to non-existent compensation or outside of business contracts in. In this work, we focus on looking for information that allows us to know the problem caused, BTs, and all the background of this. In terms of antecedents, mainly begin with the survivor syndrome based on NOM-035. This occurs when employees have drastic reduction of equipment or diminishment of departments. Within the risks, they include stress and physical health problems. Based on the previous information, we can say that it is defined as a response to chronic work stress. This is defined with the tendency of professional to work capacity and the people they serve, the feeling of emotional exhaustion, the development of negative feelings, and attitudes and behaviors of cynicism towards people who are dedicated to work, which are seen in a humanized way due to the emotional hardening of the professional.
To finish with these three antecedents, the third focus on work addiction. It arises from the union of the term work and alcoholism as an antecedent. It is defined as an excessive and uncontrollable need to work unnecessarily, which affects the health, happiness, and relationship of person. The main element is considered to be irrational contentment that the employee establishes with excessive work. Individuals feel driven to work more by internal pressure than by pleasure at work. It is noted that there will be addiction when the equal or excess 50 hours of work per week through our record. The problem is defined as behind focus on mental health is something that we do not even know importance in our lives that I should have in this investigation of the different syndromes and addiction that can develop. We could add some of the development due to trauma and the current job. It can also be noted that through this analysis that seeks to work endless hours where one exploits oneself without the need for a third party and not only affects mentally but also physically, even affecting third parties to the people around us who do not. It has nothing to do with our problems. All this can affect us many ways that we do not, and we can get worse.
Our main objectives in the project is to identify the different types of syndromes that are in the work, environment, and film preventive measures against them else wants to become aware of the NOM-035 and how this influence the psychological problems that can occur. Is very important not only to take care of physical health, it is also necessary to take care of the mental health so as not to harm use or the other people who we surround.
We have two methodologies proposal to analyze and prevent the psychosocial risk. And the first is the visualization and analysis of data from NOM-035. In the first stroke, the visualization and analysis is focused on the search and justification of the different psychosocial risks. The second part of the methodology is the settings of goals for NOM-035, where once we have identified the risks, we can visualize and prevent the most important psychosocial risks within the organization in order to create effective and measurable action plans.
To communicate the information on psychosocial risks within the company, a meeting was called. To begin, each department was informed by means of a memorandum containing information such as date, time, place, etc., so that workers could attend the meeting. In this meeting, the main information of the risks was shared, such as survivor syndrome, burnout exhaustion syndrome, professional burnout syndrome, and work addiction. In this way, the information was shared with the workers so that they knew these risks to that they are prone. During the talk, the leaflets were distributed to each worker so that they could learn a little more information and analyze it. This information was shared by my colleague Leslie Tejeda. A survey was generated to obtain statistical data of the workers. It was carried out by my colleague Braulio. This survey was carried out in order to know and detect which workers suffer from any of the aforementioned syndrome and which workers are prone to suffer any of these risks. When the information was obtained, the sessions with specialized psychologists in group and individual sessions were organized and planned to learn more about the situation of each worker.
Well, so about the information that was delivered to work, this was an infographic which was used as an introduction to the subject science. Some had not knowledge of the survivor syndrome, boredom syndrome, and aware syndrome. They didn't have know about NOM-035 and have as main purpose to have the knowledge of the subject and thus be able to know what are about the symptoms and the effects that this generates for the workers. And it is necessary to know where to go and what are the exact moments where you can ask for psychosocial support and even legal support. Is the case of within Mexico. Also, we are going to support this explanation with 3 videos, which contain information required to know about for these syndromes, because we really say that many workers only relate their symptoms to a mild depression without an employment relationship. This video gives art by some small organization by psychologists' experiences in this subject. when generally they survivors. Some data was taken for that my colleague Braulio will explain shortly.
Through the results obtained in the different tools used for the distribution of information to the company's collaborators, it is how we can realize that the workers do not have prior knowledge of any of the psychological rates that were trained. For the reason, it's more difficult to identify those who suffer or have suffered from any of the aforementioned. This survey carried out is one of the most influential tools of the for the reason that with the graphical results obtained, we realize how deficient the information that the company workers have is not greater information distribution strategy can be implemented for choose workers or should well list information data.
So in the strategies within the strategies we have 5 phases for the implementation of each strategy. So in the field is the design of the workplace, risk prevention policy. The second is the analysis of the psychosocial risk factors. And the third is the diagnostic, integration and communication of the results. The fourth is the implementation of programs to solve the possible psychosocial risk. And finally, we have the inspection of each implemented strategy. So that will be all on our part, and thank you for watching.